crispy daddies, the dangerous woke agenda, and how I'll never look at the Travelocity gnome the same way. This episode of Gen V might have one of the biggest reveals ever, and we have lots to discuss, from how Cipher's powers change everything, the mystery man in the hyperbaric chamber, is Annabeth actually Project Odessa, Andre's real killer, and how Ariana Grande's boyfriend fits into all this. But before we break it all down, make sure to like and subscribe, or my parents will make me go back to my job at Vought Fresh Farms.
That's how Vought keeps their milk pure and white.
Well, if it isn't Firecracker, America's most trusted name in news. She's here to crack down on the woke agenda and those godforsaken pronouns. Pronouns! It's kind of hard to believe this show was written months ago, yet predicted the nation's rising tensions surrounding things such as DEI and trans rights. Truthbomb is a biting social commentary on networks like Fox News, who use the same hyper-reactionary headlines to stir its political base. In this way, the media has become a weaponized tool used to push a specific political agenda, and Vought knows exactly how to use this to its advantage. It's time to get angry at Jordan Lee, Godolkin's recently ranked #1, for claiming that Vought covered up Cate's attack and that it was actually Jordan who did it. This would go against the Vought narrative that Cate was attacked by an angry mob of Starlighters, and even opens Dognod up to scrutiny after he murdered an innocent man. Last episode, you might have noticed that Jordan turned from male to female before making her confession, a callback to season 1 when Marie told them to stop turning into a man whenever they're making a point.
And you gotta stop turning into a dude when you want to make a point to us.
The Truthbomb intro is an all-out attack on Jordan and trans folk, with the irony being that Jordan isn't even trans.
I'm not trans. I'm bigender.
Oh, and I'm, by golly, shocked.
Even so, Jordan's painted as a groomer, with Justine completely fabricating a story about how Jordan in male form exposed themselves to her in the woman's bathroom. You better believe she's drumming this up for more views on the next episode of her podcast, Just Justine. Jordan is tired of everything being so fake.
Everything is so fake.
It was her time to finally tell the truth, even if that meant losing the thing she's wanted more than anything, to be #1. She realized that when she reached it, she didn't care anymore. The rankings, like everything at Godolkin, are fake. They are a subjective ranking system chosen by the board and simply another method of control. Jordan and Marie's discussion is interrupted by Cate and Cipher. If you listen closely, you can make out Cipher's last message to Cate, which is, "Know your place or you'll lose it." Cate's become Cipher's lapdog, and the recent loss of her power puts her in a precarious position. As Cipher outlined last episode,
"Your value in this world comes and goes with your powers, and without them, you are nothing."
This is also echoed by Emma.
I'm broken.
Your powers don't work? Why the are you here?
And check out this very interesting necklace. Cate's choker is a spiked sacred heart, love turned into a weapon. She needs touch to control you, so the jewelry literally warns, don't get close. The hollow heart mirrors the memory holes she leaves behind, and that chain screams she controls people even as Vought controls her. Now, Cate hasn't lost her powers per se, they just don't work like they used to. For example, when she pushes the security guy, he fucks a guard gnome. My guess is that it'll take some time, but we'll see Cate's powers return. As punishment for her little outburst, Jordan and Marie are forced to compete in a UFC-style battle broadcast around the globe on the Vought Sports Network. This isn't anything new, as we'll see past battles have included Queen Maeve in the Deep in a battle of the sexes, and my personal favorite, Eagle the Archer in Blind Spot, Flightless versus Sightless. Both of these characters were seen in Season 2 of The Boys, with Homelander even rupturing Blind Spot's eardrum.
What happens if, I don't know, I do this?
It's also kind of funny that the official White House Twitter account posted this last week. You honestly can't make this shit up. Spearheading this marketing ploy is Seth Reed, who you might remember from The Boys. We last saw him pitching Ryan's branding makeover to Homelander in Season 4.
Wow. Oh, buddy, can you believe that?
This event will be hosted at the Vought International Hotel and Spa, a spoof on Trump's own international hotels and spas. Marie and Jordan do not want to do this.
You do not have a fucking choice!
For a guy who seems pretty calm and collected, we're starting to see just how unhinged he can get. And he's right, if they don't fight, it's back to Elmira for the lot of them. But Marie has another concern. She's no match for Jordan. Cipher says she has to believe in herself, and perhaps with his training, she'll unlock the true extent of her power. Marie, Jordan, and Emma need to put a stop to this fight, hoping that by using Cate, they can get inside his head and find out what he wants. The only problem is Cate's powers don't necessarily work, but there is another option. Cate remembers seeing that secret vault at Cipher's. Perhaps whatever's behind there might hold a clue to Cipher's past. And this is just a little thing I noticed, but it looks like Emma doesn't have a roommate. In season 1, it was Marie, but Marie is back at Godolphin. Has she not moved in yet, or has she been crashing with Jordan? I gotta say, I'm loving this little trio of Emma, Harper, and Allie. Last episode, Emma suggested they up the resistance by engaging in some good old-fashioned sabotage. And what better thing to sabotage than the fight? We also learn a little bit more about Allie, perhaps a bit too much. She comes from a rich family that paid for the Godolphin library. She has a brother, Greg, who Emma met in Modesty Monarch's class last episode. It definitely looks like they're setting him up as a love interest. As far as Allie's power goes, well, last episode I theorized it might have something to do with cats, due to her black cat eyeliner, cat plushies, and her name is Allie like an alley cat. I was close, it turns out her power has to do with a different kind of pussy. I do think it's interesting that Allie kinda glosses over her dad paying for the entire library. I wonder if her family is more important than she's making it seem. Both her and her brother's last names are mysteriously missing from the credits. Cate and Jordan watch as Cipher leaves his house. Note the German-style World War II helmet. If Cipher is Thomas Godolphin's son, this helmet is just another piece of the puzzle. Vought was a known Nazi and Thomas Godolphin was his right-hand man, so most likely Godolphin was a Nazi as well. There's even a giant filing cabinet titled Thomas Godolphin in a secret room filled with Nazi paraphernalia in the Godolphin wing of the archives. It's also great to have Cate and Jordan on this mission, considering the beef they've had the first few episodes. I got the feeling that these two genuinely want to repair their friendship, but don't know if it'll ever be possible.
I think I might be mad at you forever. I hate that. Me too.
Using the security guard's access keys, they get into the vault. And if you ask me, having a little key open this giant vault, it just seems a bit too easy. Inside the vault, a record plays the song Cherish by The Association, a song that came out 1 year before the flashback we saw in episode 201, pinning it around the same time as the events of Project Odessa. There are two things I want you to notice in the room. First is this hyperbaric chamber and the body within it. This doesn't mean the body is trapped in this chamber. More than likely, it's undergoing treatment. If this is indeed Thomas Godolphin, we can assume he was severely burned in the Project Odessa accident we saw in 201. The second thing is the movable hospital gurney. Why have this here if the body isn't taken out of the chamber? Now, these chambers can be used to treat burn wounds, kill bacteria, and even clear carbon monoxide from hemoglobin. In fact, on this monitor here, we can see an indicator for SpO2, which is used to compare the amount of oxygen carrying hemoglobin versus not. A little concerning is the NIBP rating of 89/82, a blood pressure rating indicating a weak heart. But thank God the monitor shows what song is playing. In a lot of the research I did here, there was a lot of talk about blood, and I can't help but think this might be part of the reason Cipher is so obsessed with Marie. What if Marie's powers could somehow help his father? The person inside here is clearly alive. The vitals indicate as such. You can hear faint whimpers from him and his eyes open. But is this really Thomas Godolphin? There are a few things that give me pause for concern. First, if you go to the end credits, you'll see someone credited as Grotesque Man. I don't think there's any other grotesque figure in this episode but him. However, he's not played by Ethan Slater, who played Thomas Godolphin in episode 201. Who knows, maybe they just got a stand-in to undergo what seems to be intense makeup. Then there's the age discrepancy. If we assume that Cipher is Godolphin's son, and that he was born in 1967 right before Godolphin was burned, he would be 58. However, the actor who plays Cipher is 49, 10 years younger. That's a pretty big gap. Furthermore, we have this photo of him taken the day Marie was born, and he hasn't aged much since then. So what does this tell us? Two things. One, either Cipher doesn't age, similar to soups like Stormfront, or two, he isn't Thomas Godolkin's son at all. I'll probably do a complete separate video on the following theory, but I think the man in the tank is Thomas Godolkin using Cipher as a sort of conduit, living through him because his body is so damaged. In fact, it might even explain why Marie can't see any compound V in his blood. It's not Cipher using powers, rather Godolkin using his powers through him. Here's another wild theory. What if it was Cipher who killed Andre? In the first 3 episodes, we learned that Andre was killed when he overexerted himself trying to open a giant steel door. What if it was Cipher who was controlling him? If Polarity found that out, it would certainly give him motivation to kill him. Cipher's interest in Marie extends to their first one-on-one.
You know a lot about powers.
Yeah, I do.
That's an interesting thing to say, as we'll later find out Cipher has the ability to control other soups. If he can get Marie to unlock more of her powers, it would be to his benefit. If she really has the potential to be stronger than Homelander and he could control her, imagine how powerful that would make him. Cipher wants her to move these blood bags from one table to the other without them exploding, but it's what he says will happen if she accomplishes that piqued my interest.
Miracles. Miracles beyond your imagination.
Last episode, Aunt Pam referred to Marie's sister as a miracle, and there's a rising theory out there that Project Odessa isn't Marie, rather her sister, Annabeth. Annabeth's whereabouts have been highly secretive, and Pam won't let her see her or know her location. If Cipher delivered Marie, it's also likely he delivered Annabeth as well. Remember that every Odessa child died except for Marie, but if Annabeth came after her, it's likely she was a surviving participant of the Odessa Project too. I also have this insane theory that Thomas Godolkin would want to find a way to transfer himself into a new body, and what better body than that of a child? Godolkin's own statue says, "The path shall begin here where mortals become gods." Project Odessa could be a project about immortality, finding a way to live forever. Meanwhile, Harper asks Emma how her power works. I think this is all leading towards Emma being able to control her powers without having to puke or feel like shit. I mean, if Harper could mimic Emma's ability and not have to do anything to get small, it hints that Emma could do the same. In exchange, Emma will teach Harper how to believe in herself, just like Andre taught Emma how to do the same. Now, the writers have gone full mask off and started naming characters after real-life figures. The goat that explodes is named after Elon Musk, and his handler is Vance, after Vice President J.D. Vance. Marie is shocked to find out that Cipher knows about her visit with Pam, her search into Project Odessa, and that she knows he was the one to deliver her. Later in the episode, Cipher will know about Cate's video camera and how she discovered his so-called father, something he says he knows because of his security cameras. Additionally, if we go back to episode 202, Cipher can even tell that Marie wants to leap across the table and rip his throat out. So are we to believe he has a vast network of security cameras and he's always watching them? Or is there a simpler explanation? To me, the most logical answer is that his knowledge is tied to his power. By controlling others, he may be able to access their minds, and by doing so, decipher what they have done or will do. It allows him to see into their past and what they might do in the future, making him an extremely powerful soup. I also had a hard time deciphering, pun intended, who actually made the goat explode here. It starts off with Marie focusing on it, but we'll later see her turn her attention to Cipher as the goat continues to levitate. She also seems genuinely shocked when it pops, so was it her who made it explode, or Cipher somehow using her power? Off topic, but every time I see the translucent statue, I chuckle. With Cate unable to push Cipher, the crew has come up with a different plan. It involves planting a hidden camera and getting Cipher to admit to what he's done. And luckily for them, Emma has a crew ready for some sabotage. Also, bonus points if you caught the Popclaw seltzers they take on White Claws based off Popclaw, the soup who was killed by A-Train in Season 1. The fight takes place at the Vought Hotel, which is actually the Royal York in Toronto. Among the commentators is Vicor, who kicked the shit out of the kids in Hero Optimization class. Allie hands Emma the tiny camera and what has to be the cutest backpack ever, while Emma gives her the worst superhero name.
Bushmaster.
Now I want to talk about Harper rushing in here claiming she only has 10 seconds to warp into this wall. Remember that she can only mimic another's power for about 60 seconds. Did she get this power from Greg? I don't think so. He could have just done it himself. Plus we know that Greg's power is flight, but it's possible he has other powers as well. Greg also tells Emma to fuck shit up, which is a callback to what she said last episode.
Shut up.
With access to the boiler room, Emma can now use the hotel's pipes to gain access to the VIP lounge and hand the camera off to Cate. Now you might ask yourself, how come Cate didn't just bring in the camera herself? Well, the show explains that Cate would be checked for cameras when she entered the building, but hey, what are you gonna do? In the locker room, Marie and Jordan have one last heart-to-heart before entering the ring. Jordan recounts a nightmare they had as a child in which a crowd of people pointed and screamed at them, something that will literally happen in a few minutes when they enter the arena. Marie reminds them of their own words, that the whole school is fake, but they are real, and that's the only thing that matters. And as if Emma's day couldn't get any shittier, pun intended, Emma narrowly dodges the dean's dookie and emerges from the toilet. Try saying that 5 times fast. She gives the camera to Cate, who attempts to expose Cipher as being human. His secret is safe with her, but she wants them to come to an understanding that starts with him putting a stop to the fight. Meanwhile, Jordan and Marie piss off the crowd by kissing. I saw more kissing in Paul Tyson. Instead of shutting the fight down, Cipher reveals his power, being able to directly control Jordan. This is all in an effort to unleash Marie's power. As she is mercilessly beaten, Marie musters the strength to levitate Jordan, and you can see the smile on her face, or should I say Cipher's face, as she does this. This doesn't last for long, however, as Cipher quickly loses control. It makes me wonder if, like Harper, Cipher's power only lasts a certain amount of time. And speaking of Harper, imagine if she used her power on Cipher. She could then use his power to control someone else. It makes for some insane shenanigans going forward. As Jordan regains control of her body, you can see just how much pain she's in with the veins in her body about to pop. She'll survive this ordeal, but extremely weakened. And can we just acknowledge this super weird look Cipher gives Cate here? What's that all about? He's always alone with her, has this VIP suite, and it's just the two of them. He's pouring champagne, and now that we know he has the ability to control other soups, who knows if he's used Cate's powers to wipe her memory of things he's done to her. Going forward, I think it's safe to say that Marie will be crowned the new #1 ranked student, but things will totally change now that we know Cipher can control anyone. You better believe in the upcoming episodes I'll be keeping an eye on everyone, knowing Cipher could be secretly pulling the strings. But to really get a better idea of what's going to happen next, we venture into our trailer sleuthing section. Well, it looks like Marie and the gang are sent back to Elmira. We just don't know how or why. At first, I thought this could be a flashback, but considering we'll see Cate here, I don't think that's the case. We'll even see prisoners here injected with God knows what. Marie will be beaten and tased, and we'll even see this woman, who I believe to be her sister, Annabeth, behind her. She is not in prison garb, nor has an electric collar, suggesting she is either not a soup, or is or was on Cipher's side. We'll also see her in this abandoned children's facility with Cate, Jordan, and Marie fighting off Vicor and his hammer. Our prisoners look to be affected by the same type of high-pitched alarm used to immobilize soups due to it being a frequency only soups can hear. There is some sort of escape attempt. We'll see Jordan use their powers against some guards, and an Elmira prisoner van bursts through the gates. Polarity finding his power really isn't that effective against Cipher. Cipher puts the knife into his own hand unfazed. Is this too part of his power, feeling no pain, super healing, and or enhanced durability? Or could he even absorb the powers of others? Cipher here with Sister Sage in what appears to be a surveillance room at Elmira. What are they planning together, and does he have any plans to control the world's smartest person? Could the two be working together to take down Homelander? Remember that Homelander was really shitty to Sister Sage and even had her fired. Polarity here experiencing the same type of aneurysm he did in Season 1. This appears to be in Cipher's vault, as seen here. Things are going haywire, and it appears Marie is trying to stabilize Polarity, perhaps even trying to heal the micro tears in his brain. In the same room, we have what appears to be Cipher taking his father out of the hyperbaric chamber. Polarity will later be seen unleashing his power on Cipher in Hero Optimization class. He might be finding out it was Cipher who killed his son. We also have Polarity being hunted down by Black Noir. There's this weird choreographed dance sequence in Hero macro optimization, which, now knowing Cipher's ability, I wonder if he's controlling all of them. Here we have Marie using her power on Sam. You can see the veins in his face starting to bug out. Now, if there's anything this episode has taught me, it's that we're in for some absolutely insane new possibilities and twists going forward. But now I turn it over to you. What do you think will happen next? I want to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember...
We'll just have to tune in next week to find out, won't we?